What's up, guys? Alright, I think I've done this video about 3 times already, and I kept getting interrupted, but now I'm in my own room, and it's quiet. So I'm making this video because I wanted to talk about my experience with top surgery. I finally got it. Woo! That is 6 years in the making. I knew actually I wanted my breasts removed before I knew I was trans. It was just something I never felt comfortable with. So 6 years. And then when I started transitioning, obviously it became more of a need to get them removed. But it took a while because I had Medi-Cal, which is really hard to get them to pay for anything. And I didn't want to drop 6 to 8 grand doing it, nor did I have the money. So I had to wait until I got Kaiser, who has been absolutely amazing. I would recommend any trans guy or woman to go with Kaiser. They get their shit done quick. I mean, you do have to go through some hoops, but overall, it was honestly pretty quick. I had like my first visit in August of last year. Forgot what year I was in. Last year. And then like from August to March, I actually got top surgery, and in a month I'm getting my histo. And probably in about a year from now I will have bottom surgery too. So yeah, Kaiser is amazing, and all the nurses, doctors, they've been great. I loved my top surgeon. She was freaking awesome. Like, freaking awesome. But anyways, so I wanted to talk about top surgery. Most of you know kind of through my Facebook of, like, what all went down or whatever. I just wanted to kind of talk about it. It's a little bit different talking about it than, typing it, because I didn't actually disclose everything, but, my actual top surgery went really well. I was a little nervous. Okay, actually a lot nervous. Because the last time I went under was 2006 when I had my appendectomy, and I don't remember crap from that. So, and that was kind of like a you have no choice surgery. So really? Should turn that off. So it was kind of I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that was like you had no choice but to do it. So this one is it was a need, but it's still kind of a choice to get it done. So I mean, the need outdid the choice part for me. But it was still scary because it's still surgery. And I had no idea what the pain was going to be like afterwards. And all that kind of stuff. I had no real expectation, I guess, of what was going to take place afterwards. I just knew that all said and done, when I was healed, it was going to be amazing. So, but the actual surgery went really well. Pain-wise, I mean, I was on painkillers, but I tried to not do a lot of those because, one, they're opiates, so if your body gets dependent on it, you actually have withdrawals, and it freaking sucks, which I actually did, but I'll get to that later. So overall, the surgery was awesome. The pain really wasn't all that bad. I thought it was going to be worse. The worst part about it, though, was the vest for me. That was very restricting, and it kind of made me a little claustrophobic. They used this, like, memory foam to wrap me, and then it was my vest, and I had to have that on for a week. I was very happy that I did not have to have drains, because I did through the nipples. So, and usually that surgery doesn't require drains, so I was super happy about that. Even though I ended up having a drain, but again, a little further, I'll talk about that. But the memory foam thing that they were doing, that thing sucked. It was hot, and it had like kind of like a light adhesive too, so it like made me sticky, and not being able to shower for a week was horrible. But other than that, I mean, I got a little claustrophobic in it because it was so restrictive. But I'm, again, not the most patient person in the world, so, I really wanted to see what my chest looked like, even though I knew it wasn't going to be perfect and, swelling and all that jazz. But then something unfortunate happened. My cat got in a fight with my friend who I was staying with at the time, her cat, and I got up out of the chair too quick. I pushed off like that, and I ended up getting a hematoma. And for all you that don't know what that is, basically what happens is a blood vessel ruptures, so it's kind of like a big blood blister under the skin, but it gets swollen and it's nasty. It is nasty. I didn't really know that I had one, though. What sucked was I did it on Easter around noon. I knew something was wrong, only because it felt like I tore a muscle. But I kind of was like, okay, well, I did get out of the chair fast, so I might just be like, I just pissed everything off, but it'll be fine. But then, I don't know, like 6, 7 o'clock rolled around, and it started getting painful, and the vest started getting tight, kind of, and really uncomfortable. So when I got home, I checked. I went to loosen it, actually, and I checked, and it was super swollen on this side. The right side is where I got it. This side was a little swollen, but not nearly as bad as this side, and I actually yelled for my friend, and I was like, does this look as bad as I think it does? And she's like, well, it is a little swollen. So I ended up calling the advice nurse, and because I was so close out of surgery, so close, in post-op, they wanted me to go into urgent care to get it checked out. So I went, and unfortunately it was like, 8:30 when I got there, close to 9 before I actually left, so they were actually closing. And the guy kind of just chewed me out. Like, he supposedly was a heart surgeon and said that because it was still soft, that he wasn't worried about it, and that I was so close to surgery that it was just swelling. So he sent me on my way with antibiotics and ibuprofen. One of the worst things I could have taken. So if you're not familiar with surgeries and anything, they tell you not to take ibuprofen, Advil, because they're blood thinners. They make you bleed more. well, it doesn't allow your blood to clot. So, well, it still clots, but it makes your blood thin, so you bleed more. So the day after, I felt fine. I was a little sore. It was still a little swollen, but it looked like it went down. I was taking the ibuprofen. But then the next day was my actual pre-op appointment. Or not pre-op, post-op appointment. And I woke up and it kind of felt off again. It kind of hurt. I was in a little bit of pain. So I went to my post-op, and before I even saw the surgeon, the nurse, my surgeon's nurse, was like, yikes, that actually needs to be drained. Which, I mean, I didn't want to freaking hear that. I'm like, how are you going to drain it? So they took me in, my surgeon saw me, she's like, what the heck happened? And they tried to drain it. They got a good amount out draining it, and basically what they had to do was stick a needle in there and like up in here, and ugh, it was bad. Thank God I was still completely numb on this side, actually both sides, but this side I was still numb, like in this general area, so I didn't feel the needle. Thank God. But because I had actually done the damage 2 days before, the blood had been able to sit and it basically congealed. So they were trying to push on it to see what they could get out. But, oh my God, let me tell you, I am pretty hardcore when it comes to pain. Like, I have a pretty high tolerance. I mean, hence how many tattoos I have, and being an athlete, just in general, I have a high pain tolerance. And there's not a lot of things pain-wise that could get me to, like, tear up, and that was one of them. Her just pressing on my chest, that brought me to tears. And basically, because it congealed, they had to surgically remove it. So they were gonna try to get me in. It was like 8 o'clock when all this was happening in the morning, so they were like, well, we'll try to get you in like 10, 11. So I went to go get food with, well, not me, but I went to go get food with my friend who hadn't eaten, and I would say no more than like 30 minutes later, the result of them pushing on it and pissing it off even more, it started to fill up even more. And that was, I have to say that a hematoma, at least the size of mine, was one of the most painful things I've ever had. I've had kidney stones, which were horrible, and I've had a ruptured ovarian cyst, which was probably, honestly, the worst thing I've ever had. So I would rate the ovarian cyst, and then I would say a hematoma versus a kidney stone. I would say the hematoma was worse than the kidney stone. Kidney stones were horrible, but I learned that if you take ibuprofen, it actually helps. It opens your urethra, so the stone has more room to pass without actually scraping. But for any of you who've never had kidney stone, it feels like you're peeing glass. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's so much fun. Like, I would totally recommend it. Ovarian cysts, God, that was like the worst thing ever. But hematoma, I was in so much pain. I couldn't move my arm. It got so big that it actually, so basically, here, let me take off my shirt. I was actually going to show you my results. It's a little cold, that's why I had a tank top on. So this is my results. As you can see, they did suction there, and then same there and there. They went through the side of the nipple, which you can't even see, so it's amazing. I love my results, they're amazing. But so this was the side that got the hematoma. It was about up to here when I went in. Like, this whole part was swollen. I would say half of a tennis ball when it happened, and after they pressed, after they pressed on it, 30 minutes later when it filled up, it went from like around here to all the way up to my collarbone, up into my shoulder, down around, and all the way. Like, it was massive. It was like half of a cantaloupe was under my skin, and I could feel it. It was getting so swollen up here that it was actually hitting nerves, and part of my arm was going numb, and then the other part was kind of going like sharp pain shooting down. And because they were squeezing me in, it was taking a little while, but I actually had to go tell them that I was in pain. So, and I was, man. But once they finally got me in and they were getting me prepped for surgery, I was in so much pain that I wanted to punch the nurse. And I'm not one to take any aggression out on, but I really, really, really wanted to punch my nurse. She was sweet, but because, all the questions, they have to go through questions and all this stuff before they actually give you stuff. One, they actually put the stupid, what is it? Oh, God. What am I thinking? Where they take your blood pressure, the blood pressure thing, they put it on the arm that was swollen. I could not lift my arm more than like that before it started really hurting, and they were like jerking it, and I was like, I'm gonna punch somebody. But finally, probably, I would say all of this, the pain started happening around 9:30, I would say, and I didn't get in until I think closer to like 11:30. So this has been like 2 hours of just me wanting to punch and scream and cry and everything, and I've never wanted to get knocked the fuck out ever until this. I was like, just fucking knock me out. But finally, after all the questions and stuff, they gave me the drugs that kind of relax you before you go in. They actually had to give me 2 doses, and I still felt it. So my pain was probably at like a 15 when they gave it to me. And it probably brought it down to like a 7 before they had to give me another one, and I still felt it. I mean, I was loopy as frick, man. Like, I was high as a kite, I can tell you that, but I still felt pain, and that sucked. The one scary thing, though, was my surgeon, right before she wheeled me in, took a look at it again, and she was like, oh my god, we have to get you in now, or you're gonna lose your nipple, basically. My nipple was freaking, it looked nasty. It was so purple, it almost looked like it had frostbite. It was bad. But luckily, everything went well. I actually lost about 1 liter of blood, she said, which is crazy. I've never given blood in my life, so I had no idea how I was going to feel after that. I was white as freaking all heck, man. I look like a ghost coming out of there. Excuse me. But it went well. They saved my nipple. It's a little stretched out, like, you can kind of tell, like, between the two, they're a little misformed. This one got stretched out, so I'm actually going to have her reduce it, so, which is an easy procedure. So, it set me back a week in recovery. I didn't have any range of motion in this. There's still some kind of, like, weird scar tissue going on up here. It's sore still, but for the most part, I'm a lot better. But I had to take my stupid opiates again, and because of that, I actually got a dependency on it. It was only like maybe a total of taking it. I took it, I think, like 4 days for the first part of the surgery, and then after, when I had the hematoma, I took it maybe like 2 or 3 days, so no more than a week I had taken the pills, right? And my body got dependent on it, and I actually had a withdrawal. Oh, God, that was horrible. I don't know how people take opiates. It's not worth, the feeling they give you is totally not worth the withdrawal that you go through. And mine was like only a week's worth of pills. And I was so happy when I got my top surgery that I didn't have drains, and I ended up with the hematoma. I had to have a drain put in, which is this scar right there. You can see it kind of go in a little bit. It's a little jacked up. The drain is the worst thing ever. Don't ever have a drain. Getting that thing, one, it's gross emptying that stuff out, and two, getting that thing taken out, one, I didn't realize it was that far in there. It was probably a good that far in me. And she didn't tell me that she was taking it out. She didn't say, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, on the count of 3, take a deep breath or whatever. She was just like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, literally, I wanted to vomit. That was the first time ever I wanted to puke. Oh my God, that was horrible. But overall, I am so happy with my results. It is still really weird to have my shirt off. As much as I know that they're not there, and I want to take off my shirt, I still have reservations doing it because I have 30 years of female programming, so I have to just kind of check all that out. I am getting slowly more and more comfortable with being shirtless, hence all the pictures that I post. But I love it. I couldn't be happier right now. I am so happy, and it still feels like a dream. I think it'll feel like a dream for a while. And I look back at pictures of me, and I am almost 6 weeks post-op from my original top surgery, so, and it's not very long, and I just look at myself and how unnatural that looked to me. So this just feels right, and it's so hard to explain how dreamlike it is, but at the same time, it's like it never happened. Like, I never, ever had to deal with breasts before, you know what I mean? Like, it's so weird, but I wouldn't change it, like, and I'm pretty much this week, I don't have my binder on anymore. I was supposed to wear a binder for 6 weeks. They wanted me to wear it from the hematoma surgery, which was only a week after my top surgery. But I feel great. I kind of bent the rules anyways. Like, I got thrown into work pretty quick, which wasn't really, I wouldn't say my work's fault. They were pretty understanding, but my job doesn't really allow me to take it easy. So I kind of had to just do it to the best that I could. And then I had to move my stuff on my own. So that was a lot of, thank God it wasn't too much heavy stuff. But it was a lot of things over 10 pounds, so, which I actually think kind of helped me get range of motion back quicker, which is nice, because I really couldn't do a lot of overhead. There's still some things that I can't do without like a sharp shooting pain in my nipple. There's still kind of a lot of scar tissue in this area, and it's still numb a little bit. It's slowly coming back, the feeling, but there is quite a bit of scar tissue still, which eventually will probably go down a little bit once, you know, things heal more. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much back to normal ish. And I am actually, I think it's about 26 days, 27, 26, something like that, till my histo. I'm very excited about my histo, so very much. But this video is getting kind of long, so I'll do another video on my histo. Because this one was just pretty much top surgery, but that's all entails. Show you guys again. My chest is amazing. It feels so good. I've been welcomed into the brotherhood of no titties. So, yeah, it's awesome. Anyways, thanks guys for being such a big supporter. I appreciate it. And I hope I maybe answered some questions that you were thinking, or you just enjoyed this video, because I'm a big nerd. Anyways, I'll be back with an update with my histo. Alright guys, later.